Ross Lilly trying to line up John Chulin in the Ferrari. Pulls out of the slipstream, tries to look to the inside. Look at the, not much difference there, is there?
Very well matched, these cars. I mean, the GT3 regulations are quite stringent and probably the best set of, say, parity regulations that I think I've ever read.
It's not what you said last year.
No, that's true. No, it depends whether you're driving it or not.
Only joking. Out in front, Alan Simonson continues to lead this one over Craig Baird, who sits back there in second. But this battle mid-pack at the moment's the one we're watching. John Chulin, the Queenslander, doing plenty of work.
It's a couple of... that's a classic. You know, as I said, that the design of a Porsche, the engine actually hangs out behind the back axle, so you know, you could see the unstable sort of nature of that as he got in there deep under brakes.
Ash Samadi working hard behind the wheel of his Porsche, the man who used to race in the Carrera Cup Championship, elected to come across to GT racing, felt that he'd have a little bit more fun down here, and he's certainly been doing that. Like that guy, he's always got a smile on his face.
This is a great battle too, isn't it, now that Ross Lilly's joined in?
Caceres fighting his way back up behind Ash Samadi, as after that spin in the second turn.
Just to add a little bit of triviality to this, the colour that the Lamborghini is called Arancio, which I think is just the best Italian name for orange I've ever heard. Jaffa, yeah.
Normal people, yeah.
That looks terrific, doesn't it?
It does. It's a great colour scheme. In fact, when you look through the field, the presentation of this year's championship is exceptional. The guys have really stepped up to the plate. Oh, problems, big problems. One of the Porsches around. It's on the exit of turn 9. That's the 77 machine, again having a spin. Let's see if he did this all on his own. Yep, certainly did. Just got on the gas too early.
Just on the gas a bit early, yes, absolutely. It's, you know, of all the racing cars I've ever driven, I think probably a Porsche is the trickiest one I've ever driven. I've only ever driven it once, so it put me off for life.
In defence of Caceres too, when you've made a mistake and you're trying to fight your way back through the field, sometimes you do tend to push a little bit too hard, and he just fell victim to that. This man's no victim to nobody at the moment, way out in front, Alan Simonson.
Very dominant performance, and Alan is, you know, acclaimed probably worldwide as a driver of these cars, and rightfully won the championship last year, and is absolutely giving an incredible demonstration here.
Tough campaigner to race against, John?
Well, I mean, I'm a bit clouded, Boydo, because he speared into me in Tasmania last year, and I'll never forgive him for it, but he is a pretty good driver, I've got to say that.
Simonson up through the final group of turns now. He's going to bring the Coopers machine around onto the start-finish line and start his championship season on the final lap with maximum points. That's exactly what he came here this weekend to do.
Absolutely, and you know, if you're going to be sponsored by someone, Cooper's Beer is probably a good one to be sponsored by, isn't he? Be able to enjoy a well-earned one after all this racing.
Well, he's had Coopers on board for quite some time. They've stuck behind him originally. Glenn Cooper got behind Alan and said, I want to see you racing here in Australia. Alan didn't have the budget to come over and play, and it's been a great partnership between the two that continues. Craig Baird sits back there in second in the Ferrari 360 GT. What can you say about this driver?
Very, very, very versatile. I first drove in the same team as Craig in the mid-90s when he drove with Dick Johnson in the long-distance races. He's raced overseas. He's, you know, a very good all-round driver. And Beardo's car's probably an earlier version. It's not probably, it is an earlier version of Alan Simonson's car. Alan drove that car Craig's driving last year, and the 360 doesn't quite have the grunt of the 430, so it's just evolution, but he's doing a tremendous job. But John Case is actually making ground, so in the later races, I think Johnny, as he gets more confidence in the Aston, he'll give Beardo a bit of a run.
It's a great performance, isn't it, after having a bad start to work your way back into third spot and be closing in on a guy with the experience of Craig Baird.
I was quite impressed with the way John drove that car when it first arrived. He'd driven mostly Porsches, and he was a bit unused to a front-engine car, but the more effort he's putting into it, now he's got Sam Studi preparing it, I think John Case has got a lot of potential.
Well, he's certainly determined to try and give the championship a nudge this year, and he's a competitor that will need to keep a very close eye on. Speaking of which, checkered flag now at the ready for Alan Simonson, who's going to come out and take the first win of the first round of season 2008 here at Eastern Creek Raceway. A great result for the Dane. Craig Baird hangs on to second, then John Caius, Peter Lucas, John Chulin in fifth spot, Ross Lilly, Ash Samadi and Caceres rounds out the top 8.